Good evening. My name is Kim Kamber, and I live in rural Rankin. And this really isn't kind of an agenda item, though, but I wanted to talk before we got the rest of the meeting. And I wanted to respectfully ask the entire board and the county clerk's table, as well as the county's attorneys, to please speak up and use the microphones at their stations during the meeting so that we can all hear your voices. I want to respectfully ask the chairman or acting chairman to ask any person speaking, board member or the public or a presenter, to speak into the microphones so that all attending the meeting can hear what's being said. I would also respectfully ask the chairman or acting chairman intervene with someone speaking to remind them to move closer to the microphone when they have drifted away from it so that all attending the meeting can hear what's being said. Thank you.
Are you having this recorded?
Good evening. I'm Gerry Hofburg. I'm here to talk just briefly about the proposed animal shelter adoption increases. As many of you know, I was the animal shelter director for 27 years, and I feel that increasing the adoption fees this greatly that you're doing, more than doubling in some areas, is going to reduce your number of adopted animals, thereby increasing your number of euthanized animals, working completely backwards of what this county has been doing that I have been involved in for over 37 years now. I think that the other important thing of whatever, and I agree that there should be an increase. I don't disagree with that. But from $80 to $175 for a puppy, it is not good. I think that it should be sent back to committee and try to do some research on that. A couple of the areas that I think are important, whatever fee you adopt, should be broke down. It used to be broke down in areas so much for an adoption fee. It was $18.50 for adoption fee. Whatever the rabies shot is, whatever the tag is. Those kind of things with a total. If I, unfortunately, would have to give up my dog for reasons to the shelter, my dog's already vaccinated, my dog already has a tag, and my dog already is spay or neutered. So the person that hopefully would adopt my dog shouldn't have to repay for those items. My dog should be probably more likely to be adopted by somebody because those things are already done. The other thing, and excuse me, because I don't know what's totally going on. I would hope that you are still utilizing the University of Illinois School of Veterinary Medicine for the junior and seniors to spay and neuter a large percentage of your animals. That's free. I mean, then why would you want to come back and charge the people that fee? That was the other thing. If it was a university animal, you weren't charged the spay and neuter fee. You were charged the adoption fee and the tag fee and the rabies shot. But I feel that it needs to be looked at. There are a lot of different places that you can look at to help your expenses here. First of all, I think you need to make sure that the University of Illinois is still involved with you. I know now that they even have a mobile spay neuter unit that's coming around the shelters. And I know 2 of the shelters right here in Danville are utilizing them. I don't believe the county is utilizing that service. I think it's something you need to look into. And the Animal Shelter Foundation, for years and years, thousands of dollars were raised and put back in towards the spay and neuter cost of animals that were adopted from the shelter. If that's not going on, if the Animal Shelter Foundation is not doing that and helping the animals that are being adopted, then maybe that shouldn't be the Vermilion County Animal Shelter Foundation. Maybe you need to get something else that will assist in that area. The other thing, high adoption fees will do nothing but make people to take the backyard bred dogs and cats that we see all over. They'll take those animals. They won't be spay and neutered. They won't have their shots. And they'll continue to reproduce. Most people, honestly, want to spay and neuter and do the right thing. And it's economics. we should never give free animals away. That's not what I'm saying, because a free animal has no value, and unfortunately then is treated that way. But I just think you're way out of line. Very quickly, the other thing, if this is cost-driven, exactly that, your proposed fees are backwards. You're proposing to charge more for an animal that's under 40 pounds than one that is over. It's just the reverse on your cost. It costs more to have the larger animal spayed and neutered by a veterinarian than the smaller animal. This is marketing. What's done here is marketing. You are going to adopt more of the smaller animals, and whoever put this together, I believe that's what they're looking at.
Please bring your comments to a close, Mr. Hall.
Okay. I would just think that you hopefully would take it back to committee. One passing thing, I would like to say that I think the county is doing some very good things with looking at a veterinary technician coming in to the shelter, looking at the ventilation. I think Chairman Weiner is doing good there. Chairman McMahon, I know, worked very hard in trying to look at doing a combination shelter for the city and county, which is still being looked at. But it's a tough job, I know. But please look at this and then you send it back and get some more information. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and board members for allowing me to come forth and express myself in regards to the animal shelter young lady. I'm not here to express my love of animals because I can't take them all home with me. In my 30-some years in the animal welfare world, I've heard that hundreds and hundreds of times, but that's not realistic. I'm concerned of the 100+% raise in adoption fee. An average would probably be someplace around $125, $80 with a reduction on cats, like $20. Of course, that's not where all the options are. They're mostly for puppies and dogs. If we continue to, as has been indicated by the animal welfare and the animal control, that no doubt adoptions will probably fall about 100 in a year, during the year. So as a result of that income will still generate something like $49,000. And while I say this, I also want to apologize for some information I give you. There was a typo error. I left a zero off, and my proofer didn't even catch it. And same one meant both of us, and I apologize for that. Present income yearly at $125, which isn't going to happen. I don't think. I would love for it to. Would be $61,500. The adoption revenue based on 492, which is the approximate number of adoptions per year based on what has been adopted so far the first 7 months of the year, and what will happen in the next 5 months. So there should be, if there was no loss in adoption, there would be a gain of approximately $22,140 a month, which is fairly substantial. The big loss, in my opinion, and what bothers me is the 20 and 25% loss of animals that will be slaughtered, killed, if you want to use a nice term, euthanized, because it is a humane way, but it's ridiculous to think that we have to euthanize more animals. Our adoption rate is much lower than the national average. 25, 26, 28 is generally someplace in the area of the adoption rate across the country for animal shelters. Our rate is someplace in the area of 16, 18%. As I'd indicated, there are ways of getting revenue up. There are grants out there that we could be exploring, like American Humane Society of the United States, PetSmart, North Shore Animal League. I know it's there because I've done that before. I've been there and done there and got that. There are other options too. Just think, if we were to work diligently on increasing the adoptions from the present rate, say just 10 a month. Say just increase the numbers by 10 a month. 10 times 12 is pretty simple, 120. 120 times the present $80 results in $96,000. That's substantial, and that's the big thing about that is, bottom line, less animals will be killed. And we've increased the number of animals out there also that go out to homes, animals that are neutered and spayed, which won't be reproducing. Also, what happens many times when these raises come into effect that much, people are looking for what? They're looking free to go home.
Mr.
In other
Nixon,
words,
would you please bring your comments to a close?
I am. Bottom line, less animals will be killed. In my opinion, killing less is good. Give this some thought as you decide. Thank you.
Can I ask Mr. Nixon a question? You have on here that it would drop by about 100.
Good afternoon. My name is Jim Watson. I live at 1525 Lincoln Street. And for the past 5 years, I've been in and out part-time at the animal shelter. And the things that you really need to touch on is the process to adopt an animal. It's really difficult to adopt an animal. You got to go through, you got to say whether you have more animals at home. Do you own your own home? Do you rent? If you rent, you need the permission from the landlord to adopt an animal. People come in there and spend a half hour, 45 minutes, and then they come and adopt it. Well, they don't have the landlord's permission for one thing, so they got to call the landlord. It's not an easy process to adopt. You kind of need to look into the adoption process and understand it, because that stops a lot of people. You get 10 people in there a day, you're real lucky to get 3 animals adopted because they don't fit the criteria. So that's something that you can look into. Now, how many do we euthanize? 5 years ago, we euthanized 1,200 animals. I imagine this year we only did less than 300. So we took that down quite a lot. When spring comes in, we are loaded full of kitty cats. Cats everywhere. They come in by 8, 10 at a time. It's just spring. And we don't charge people to take their cats because we are Vermilion County. We take anything that comes in there that the neighbor picks up, your dog, whose dog, and we run a chip over it and make sure that you get your dog back. But we will charge you a fee. Sometimes it's over $100 because it's $8 a day to keep that dog or cat or whatever it may be. Then we have to go to make sure it's vaccinated, and we have to have proper credentials that you own the dog. And it goes to the veterinarian. You pick it up at the veterinarian. You just don't take things home. It's a process to get your dog back. You need to understand that. It may not be a good process, but it is a process. You can look into that. But outside that, I think animal control is doing the best under what we have. We get 400 some odd thousand a year, and we do pretty good with that money. Now, do we need more money? Everybody needs more money. police station needs more money, sheriff needs cars. What I'm trying to say is, we always survived by asking the chairmans for something that we really truly need. So underneath that, if you have any questions, anything I've been here for the last 5 years, I can really answer them. If you have anything for me. If not, look into the adoption process and try to make it easier for people to adopt. You won't have that big problem. And one other thing Champaign does is on Fridays, once a month, they have a free day. And if you're going to euthanize at the end of the month, put them up for adoption free. It's just a thought. Thank you.
My name's Ted Harkey. I live at 50 in Illinois. Tonight I sat next to Colin Russell. He works for Bruce Harris and Associates, and they're the company that's been providing our GIS maps for a long time for the county assessor's office. I use those GIS maps every day, maybe 3-4 times a day in my business. They're very useful, and our GIS system is a wonderful thing to have. And I understand, though, there's another, they're going to renew their contract, and they're going to run to pay for it, to renew the contract. There's a little bit of upcharge in the fee. We're going to run our recorder's fee for deeds, easements, plats, and whatnot from currently a $40 fee up to a $50 fee. Currently, when I hand a survey plat to a client or do a monument record or a realtor, and a title company submits their instrument for recording, the client always winces when we tell them it's $40, and now when it goes up to $50, we're getting to that range where someone who is in charge of recording their own deed or their own easement, they might skip stopping at the recorder's office to do that. They might just pass on by and that thing will not get recorded. When we did the Vermilion County Nursing Home Survey, there was one of these unrecorded easements, and it was very difficult and it was costly for us to go dig and find that. My survey fee was a little bit higher because of the extra work to find the gas line pipeline or the gas pipeline easement document. My question about, since this fee is going up 25%, is I've asked this question in my email previously. I wanted to know what our old contract amount was in 2011, how much it was in 2012. Something happened in, I think it was in 2012, toward the end of the year. The county assessor's office had a person that worked in that office who did the mapping updates. Whenever there was a parcel split, she would go onto the mapping and add that line work on the drawings. And she has quit her job and she has moved on and works in the private sector now. And currently, those updates to the GIS drawings, they get put in the stack. And I think maybe Colin can help us once every couple months. I think Bruce Harris and Associates gets a stack of documents to go through and update those maps. That made our payments to Bruce Harris fluctuate wildly. One month it might be $15,000, another month it may be a few $100s. So I think the reason for the new contract is to address all those issues and cover that cost instead of having the county employee doing it. Now it's going to be done privately. And my last question leads up from my other ones. What was the costs in 2011 and 2012 minus our employee who used to do it, and the uptick to do it for the new contract? I'd like to have those questions answered, please. That's all I have. Thank you.